Rob,
What?
pray us in.
No, you do it. No, Johnny does it.
Johnny, you want to pray?
Guest has to do the second prayer. You got to pray us in. Just, talk to the Lord for us.
I'm not used to freaking praying.
I don't care. Knock it out.
Father, we pray for good subjects. Pray for health. See, this is where I'm bad. I'm bad at this.
Just talk to him, yeah.
I just pray for everybody at this table. I pray for wisdom of being able to send a good message for people to learn from and help. I don't know. I'm easy. I mean a lot when I say it. So in your name we pray.
Come on.
Amen.
Let's go to work.
I love it.
Welcome to Recovery Unfiltered Podcast, featuring the tall and obnoxious Larry Shepard and Rob Thomas, also known as Rob Don. He may or may not be tall enough to ride the big roller coasters. Today's special guest, John Kay from Oakdale. Also joining in today's show is the woman who keeps Larry in check, the beautiful Katie.
Hello, Robert. Rob Don.
Rob Don.
Dude, I love that. I am tall enough.
I barely.
If I wear the boots, I barely make that 5 foot. But no, the 4
Conchetta
foot.
asked you to wear the boots.
All the
That's
time.
funny.
She said, wear those all the time. You want to think about wearing those all the time.
That is funny. You know what? I love her morning prayers. I absolutely love them. I look forward to those every morning. She
What
says,
she sent us today
yeah. I have not looked at it yet.
brought my
Sorry.
wife to tears.
I have not looked at it yet.
I can read it quickly.
Right. Yeah.
And it kind of fits with AA. I mean, the
Yeah.
thought process.
I have not had a chance to read it. I
I'll
want to
read
read
Read it. No,
Read
read
it.
it.
All right,
Read
here
it.
we go.
Who's this?
Conchetta.
Conchetta, who
if
was
you've
on
not
the.
listened to her stories.
Oh, her story was incredible. It's actually a two-parter. I couldn't do hers in one.
No, it's good.
It was an awesome.
The story comes from there's a woman who's worked with for 15 years, hospice, people dying in the process. So she's heard over, been around 300 people in their, their last thoughts, their last, the things they wish they had done, the things they wish they hadn't done, all those things. And she came up with seven things that she gleaned from this. And here they are real quick. I should have loved more. This is number one. I should have loved more and differently. Laura remembers George, 92, a World War II veteran who hadn't spoken to his brother in 40 years. He says, I won the argument, he whispered, but I lost a lifetime.
Ouch.
No one, she realized, dies wishing they'd been tougher. They wish they'd been kinder. Reflection. We treat love like it's a side project, but in the end, it's the only project. Try this. Send that message. Make the call. Don't wait for a funeral to say what love demands now. Number two. I saved my joy for later, and later never came. A retired engineer once told her, I was so scared of being poor that I became rich in fear. He died 3 months after retiring, never spending the savings he built his life around. We all postpone happiness after the raise, after the move, the milestone. But life doesn't honor those timelines. Reflection. Joy delayed is joy denied. Someday is a mirage. Try this. Use the good dishes tonight. Book the small trip. Me and Bonnie are going to. That's what got Bonnie. She was,
Right.
we're fucking going.
Right. Good for
Let
her.
joy become your default, not your reward. Forget. Here's one for the AA people. Forgiveness set me free more than oxygen did. Some fought their last breath not from fear, but from unfinished pain.
Oh, God.
One woman gasped, "I can't die angry." When her estranged son arrived, as she forgave him, her breathing calmed. She passed away 30 minutes later. Reflection. Unforgiveness doesn't punish others. It poisons you. Try this. Write the letter you'll never send. Forgive on paper if you can't in person. Peace isn't a prize. It's a release. Number 4, the best things in life were free, and I was too busy to notice. When asked what they missed most, people didn't say success or possessions. They said the smell of rain, the sound of birds, my dog's breath in the morning. A CEO once told her, I mistook being busy for being alive. Hey, I got to listen to that. Reflection. Simplicity is not a lack, it's a luxury. The smaller your world becomes, the sharper your sense of wonder. Try this. Unplug for the day. Count how many moments make you smile without screens or money. Number 5, regret is the heaviest thing to carry. More than any painkiller could measure, regret hurt the most. One patient said, I didn't regret failing. I regretted never auditioning.
Ooh.
We waste decades trying to appear competent, not courageous. But failure fades, regret hardens. Try this. List 3 things you'd most regret not doing. Start the first one before the week's end. That's a great one. Action. Get into action, Johnny. Number 6, presence is the greatest gift you can give. Laura said the saddest sound wasn't the heart monitor. It was the phone vibrating beside an empty chair. One father admitted, I was always somewhere else, even when I was home. Presence isn't just being there. It's being awake while you're there.
That one's me.
And yeah, absentee father, we talked about, John, with our kids. Reflections. Distraction is a modern disease of living. We scroll through life like it's a rehearsal. Try this. When you eat, just eat. When you talk, truly listen. One day someone will give anything to remember that moment you were half absent for. That hurts.
Yeah.
7, peace comes when you stop pretending. As bodies weakened, masks fell off. One woman laughed, removing her wig, and said, finally, I'm done pretending. Reflection. Authenticity feels terrifying until you realize it's oxygen. Try this. Say what you mean. Let someone see the version of you that isn't edited for approval. I like that.
Yes.
The peace you're seeking is hiding behind your honesty. Then there's patterns and patterns, but
Right. That's pretty incredible.
That's what, so, and being like you were, when I went through, because you talked about how the minerals in your body from drinking were messed up. Chemotherapy did that to me. And it almost sent me it almost killed me twice. Once the first time I almost did it to myself with too much water. It was weird. But when you're that close to death, you get to see things differently. You get to feel things differently. Things smell different. They look different. And God gives you little gifts if you come back from it. And so a lot of that really hits home.
You got to be able to feel differently. I mean, going through the cancer and going through what John went through, everything, to me, it heightens your sensitivity to everything around you.
It should.
It should.
It does.
You're right.
It does.
I mean,
to other people, for me.
I mean, I was in a horrible accident, but I was never in what you two were in. And I remember seeing stuff that I'm pretty sure was the other side. And
the old people,
I'm pretty sure was the other side. But I mean, personally, I feel like I was so young. I mean, I was in the hospital almost 4 weeks and I was out a week and went out and started drinking again. So obviously it didn't change my perspective to where you guys were at an age where, holy shit, that was real.
And I'd already worked the steps. I was spiritually fit.
Right.
So this was deep. And I could feel, because I would always send a text, and I told this to the boys. I would send out a text, okay, going for my 3rd chemo or my 30th radiation, just because I couldn't talk about it, and I get prayers. And I could always tell, Aaron would give long, and you could feel them. And it wasn't like strength. The prayers didn't give me strength. What they gave me was like, I just felt, because we were that close to the veil, as I call it, like a second set of skin.
Right.
Just like a little buffer.
Right.
Just a little air. Maybe you could call that strength, but and Aaron would pray long-winded prayers, or like Jason Ryan and the other guys, you could just feel them. Lord, be with him today. And then, and I would talk to him. Yeah, that's about what I'd say. Things like, yeah. But I mean, it's awesome.
Right. Right. Did you, John, when you were in your coma, do you remember, do you have prayers that or not prayers, but do you remember
memories,
like vivid memories of that?
Everything.
Really? Tell us one. Tell us one that you remember inside that coma.
The boat.
Men's Winterfest was going on, and the hospital, for me, I was in a coma. I was never awake. I had no idea. I just remember my room. There was a long hallway, and the lakes where I'd gone was like right next door to this place. Okay, and I remember seeing Tom. Dave M from Northside, made Jim,
who's in Texas,
a keyboard out of aluminum. I still remember this crap, out of aluminum, and the letters weren't in the right spot. So Dave had to redo it again. So the other one was Jim pulled a 40-foot trailer with 2 21-foot boats on it. Came from Texas.
This was in your dreams.
This was in my dreams. I still remember. Yeah, I still remember this. You could ask me 30 years from now, and I'll tell you the exact same story. So he's there, and anyways, he pulls out the thing about that story is, I told Will, I told him that story, and I said, Jim is going to get a kick out of that when I tell him on Saturday.
But he didn't know.
Will told me Jim moved to Texas.
How did he know?
You didn't. That it came in, right?
I had dreams that I was. It was amazing, the dreams that I was having, and yeah, they were just like they were there.
But it's not a dream. It's vivid. It's real. It's more real than right now. But it's more real than right now. He's like, how can it be more real than it is? It's just more real.
And you say that, I still have the absolute vision of that old lady and that old man putting that blanket on me. It was just.
I don't know if Jones heard the story. Tell
really,
the story.
I mean, some people that haven't heard it, when I was 18, when I took Katie out on our very first date, me and my buddy that was we dropped them off at 10 o'clock. We ended up going to get picked up a couple more girls and went out to another party, and just got trashed drunk, and I piled in the back of his sister's Mustang, and there was another guy in the front seat, and I fell asleep, and next thing I know, we woke up and I'm on the hood of that Mustang, and I was on top of that passenger seat, and I had thought I'd killed Victor. I was laying on where Victor was at, and I'm trying to pull the thing back up, and the guy that was driving, my other buddy, says I already dropped him off, and he says, my foot's pinned, I can't get out. And I'm like, okay, well, I have no idea why I didn't crawl forward. I ended up crawling backwards, and when I rolled off the back, I landed on a stump right on my chest, and it shattered my sternum and pushed my sternum into my heart. So I couldn't hardly move. And then when I looked down, I'd had a compound fracture, and my bone was sticking out of my skin, and I was bleeding pretty bad. And I told him, I was like, dude, I can't move. And somehow he got out. And if you know Lancaster, he walked up Lancaster, and he walked up his driveway, and how he made it up there. Well, he walked up and he passed out on the driveway because it's a extremely steep driveway, and he passed out when his dad come out. He saw him. Well, that was the accident. Well, they finally called. When I was laying there, I was freezing cold, and I remember this old lady and this old lady and this old man pulling up in a blue with white stripes, and he had on a fedora hat, and he got out, and the little lady got out too, and he come up to me, and they were both standing there, and I said, I'm freezing cold. And he says, okay, we got a blanket, and he put a blanket over the top of me, and they sat there holding me, and next thing I remember is I remember looking over the edge, and the helicopter was lifting me up off the ground, and I said, can you give the blanket back to the old people? And that the nurse said, there is no blanket, and you're dying, we got to go, and off. And I didn't remember, I was out for a couple weeks after that, but that was just very vivid. There was absolutely nothing there it was incredible. Yeah,
and while they were there, were you warm?
Oh, I was warm. I was absolutely warm. Yeah, I got cold when the helicopter was picking me up. I remember that. I was getting cold when the blades were picking me up off the thing. I remember laying I remember, for some reason, I remember my head hanging out the helicopter. I don't know why, but I can remember looking over the edge and watching the helicopter go up and telling those guys, I need to get the blanket back to the old people. And they said, there's nobody here, and you're dying, we got to go.
That sounds like Jim's driveway.
Yeah.
Where Jim was living. He lived on Lancaster too. He calls it the tallest mountain in Oakdale.
Probably same one.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, this thing was steep.
Right.
So every time you tell that story, I think of this. This is Hebrews 13:2. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. How about that?
Yep. I don't know why did you bring that up again?
Just a great fucking story.
It is. And it just, yeah. And then this woman here never left my side. I'd been on one date with her and never left my side for 4 weeks I was in there? Never left my side. She was there every day. And then my dumbass gets out and
gets in another wreck.
I was only out for 4 days, and all my buddies show up at the house. I had an international scout at the time, and they show up at the house and wanted to go out to the back of the reservoir. I'm still on crutches. I haven't even been back to school yet. And and they said they want to take the top off my Scout. And I'm like, no, we're not taking it off. But I can't drive. So one of the other guys drove, and there was like 6 of us in there, and we ended up putting a keg in the back and went out to the back of the reservoir where the train trestle was at, jumping off the train trestle. Now remember, I still have a shattered femur. I have a rod in my leg, and I'd only been out of the hospital, and we were coming out of there. Like I said, we had a keg in the back of the Scout, coming back 26-mile road, and there was 2 cars coming the other direction. One of them was in our lane, and the guy driving dipped off the side, and the Scout rolled 7 times end over end and ejected 3 or 4 of us. And I got me another helicopter ride again. And when they brought me in there, the charge nurse she looked at it and she was like, I haven't even finished your paperwork from your last visit. Fun times. Yeah. And
I wish I had that Scout though.
Oh, buddy, I'm going to tell you right now, still in my dreams, I wish I still had that thing. That thing was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Black with gold pinstriping. It was unbelievably gorgeous.
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Going off of what I read, because I was just at a celebration of life, not this week, last weekend. At my age, hunting, fishing buddy,
Right.
Never really stopped or slowed
Right.
down. He had diabetes real bad and and I was going to get to say the prayer, then we never eventually did it, but they asked me to do the prayer. But my question is, if God called you home today, what we read about regrets and what you wish you would have had it done. Is there anybody you wish you had made the phone call to, or what would you regret, if anything, right now?
Right now?
Right now. Can you think of anything, Katie? Can you think of anybody that needs forgiveness? Anybody that you would, you may want to forgive? What do you think was going to bother you? Because it's going to come. I mean, and think of it like this, to you alcoholics. Remember when we first, when we were broken, Johnny? I mean, broken. In that moment, you're like when, think of it when Todd called you and you're like, I surrender. And in that moment, the floodgates are open. You'll say anything because it's all free and you don't care. I mean, I think about that. I don't want
to break Larry's confidence on who he wrote a letter to, but I know that he's written maybe even more than one letter, but I know that he had to go and read that letter to that person who's no longer here.
My grandpa.
So, I mean,
It was my
okay,
grandpa.
I didn't want to,
and I've done that with my parents.
Yeah.
But what did you get from that? Did you get?
Oh, I got closure with my grandpa, but I didn't have regret from that. I don't have regret from that. I think some of my biggest regrets is I don't know if it's a single person. I don't have regrets with anybody in growing up. I think a lot of my regrets is I wish I'd have not got involved with the drugs in high school. I wish that would not have came into my life. I think I would have finished my high school football career like I wanted and not, ran away and hiding in my drug. At that time, I was pretty hooked on cocaine. So I ran away on that. And I have a lot of regrets on that. A lot. That was probably that's probably my biggest regret.
But I mistook being busy for being alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes we get too.
I think everybody.
But that's, kind of going back to what John was saying in his podcast, your wife, she was holding down the fort, taking care of the kids, doing all of the things that she us wives, us moms do. And sometimes life just gets away from you.
Oh, yeah.
And when, even when we lay down at night, I always say I have 50 tabs on my computer screen open because that's what it feels like. Did I change the laundry before I went to bed? Or did I do this? Or did I do that? You think of all of those things because we're multitasking all of those things. So in fairness to her, life was in her way too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Actually, today, I think I lost a resentment here.
well, that's
Wow.
Something always great comes from that.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really think I lost a resentment today.
Yeah.
And it was Larry that brought it up because I've said it in my mind, but no one's ever said it to me. Have you ever taken personal accountability for that?
Right.
What did you do?
Own your own.
Yeah.
It's just
Own your
amazing. No, yeah. We've been divorced, I don't know, 5 years.
Isn't it the feeling, and sorry, I don't mean to, I'm derailing from this podcast, but isn't that feeling of that resentment leaving like amazing?
It's huge. I'm so relaxed right now. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
It's freedom. It's oxygen, just like we read.
Right.
It's oxygen. That unforgiveness, forgiveness is oxygen.
And those resentments, and I think it's one of those things where you try to tell other people about it that haven't walked the steps and haven't been in our shoes.
But a man with an experience is never at the mercy of a man with an opinion.
Right.
We've lived it. They can think what they want.
Hey, was that question one from Katie?
No, that was me. No, that was all. That one was all me.
But in what we read, the thing that struck me the most, the thing that affected me the most, that dealt with AA, is the woman.
Right.
The old woman who finally ripped off the wig and said, I can stop pretending.
Right.
When we do these steps and when we sit before another man, okay, I can stop pretending. This is me.
Right.
This is what I've done, and this is who I was.
Right. I can tell you, I've become.
It's those shackles and those chains that break away.
What's funny is I apologized to her for all of my actions, but I never apologized to put her in that position or to let her know that I forgive her.
Right. And those are the key.
That's huge.
It's huge.
What about Nathan? What about when we had Jamie and Nathan on? Remember, you sat right here, John, and she said, I wonder, she had heard something from the podcast, Jamie did, and said, I wonder if he needs to hear this. She goes, oh, by the way,
I forgive
just
you.
in passing, I forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
And the freedom and the shackles that Katie just talked about, that everything that dropped off, and that relationship can build and grow.
Right. Because it's growing on honesty.
Well, unencumbered.
Right. There's nothing there. Katie and I have had some extremely open conversation, ones that are extremely uncomfortable for me, right? Because when those conversations come up, I have to go, first, you got to pause and go, okay, where's this going? And then you got to look at yourself. I'm sober 4 years almost now, and these conversations still come up with stuff that, I have to deal with from how I treated her in the past. Mm-hmm. And when those things come up, I have to go, okay, there's something else I need to atone to, right? And it goes back to what we've talked about many, many times. It's that living amends with my wife that I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. Well, hopefully not the rest of my life, but I'm going to do it. I mean, when these things crop up, as they crop up and as we go along, these things too shall come up, right? Mm-hmm. John, you're living with you, what it too shall crop up. It just cropped up on you. And as you do this, and now you the feeling that you get of letting that go, it's incredible. And I think for me, and I just had this conversation with somebody the other day who's not an alcoholic. I'm like, man, doing the steps would probably do you some good, because they got other stuff.
Isms.
They got other
I,
isms.
self, and me.
Right.
Other isms, yeah.
I started reading, I listened to a pastor out of San Antonio. His name's Ed Newton, and I love him to death. He's an amazing pastor, and it's, that's Katie and I's church. We watch him every Sunday morning. And I started reading his book, and it's called Why Not Me? And it's an amazing story. It's basically saying that, why not me, right? Who are you? And
first time I said that was every time in my life I'd said that bullshit, except for the hardest time in my life when I went through cancer. It was the one time I didn't say, why not me? Because once you start going through, because what if God says, okay, God, I don't want this. And he says, okay, Rob, I'll take it.
Right.
If you really want me to, I'll take it.
Right.
Appreciate it. Now it's going to go to your kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because when the nurse came in, she wasn't really a nurse. She was like she was an older woman, but like volunteering, kind of helping. Mm-hmm. She comes in and they're trying to cheer you up to the best they can. She's a young man, I know it's scary. The scariest thing a doctor could ever tell you is you've got cancer. I said, no, ma'am. The scariest thing the doctor could tell me is your son or your daughter has cancer. Right. I can do this.
Right. And that, what, that goes, it goes back to what John was saying, that he had to deal with the same thing, right? You had to come to grips with the same thing. You came about it inside of a meeting that we all witnessed, right? That was an amazing experience for all of us that was sitting in that meeting to watch you come to that realization that why not me, right? Look what God has done for me, right? And that was one of the most amazing things I've ever saw in a meeting, quite honestly, is to watch that realization come to John that morning that we were all sitting on that meeting, and so we were looking, so you asked the question, and the more I think about it, the more, who would be that person that I would regret that I never called?
If there is one, there may not be one.
I go back and
no one's going to say, man, I wish I worked more hours.
No,
I wish they're not going to say that.
And I think every dad would say, I'd love to have another like to have another opportunity to raise my kids, right? I think every dad would like to do that, especially now when we're raising, I get to watch my grandkids, right? And now the patience I have now.
That we didn't have.
Right. That I
busy
didn't
lives,
have,
yeah.
right? Because we're busy. We're trying to keep our families from, so, but
some days you're just trying to survive.
yes,
You know,
for sure.
Come on.
There are
Absolutely.
Just make it through the day.
Yes,
Right.
there's so. I mean, not
Yes.
just like your kids are growing and they've got these feelings and everything that's happening with them at school, and they're trying to process things and learn things at the same time. But you, as parents, are just trying to survive, whether it be your day to day and just making bills or making sure that you're making enough money in your job to get by. And as moms, we're just trying to survive some days.
And think about it.
Honestly.
We're still children ourselves. 25, we're
Absolutely.
22, 23 years old, 24 years old, raising these children that we were still fucking children ourselves.
Yeah. And there's no manual. You do the best you can.
Yeah.
And that it goes back when I Eric and Miranda, that, it's like, I got to keep my mouth shut because they're not our kids. Right. So that was probably one of my biggest things is I wish I could go back and raise those kids again. Right.
But who's to say who's to say it wouldn't have ended up the same?
Yeah, or worse.
Yeah.
Well,
or
you
worse.
pray not,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
yeah.
That's the only regret I could come up with. That's the
See, but
only
now
thing.
my kids, when I got sober, they don't remember that dad.
Right.
Even though your
Right.
dad that slept, they don't really. Bonnie does, but they don't. They remember this guy.
My kids were full-grown adults when my alcohol
I know.
took
See,
off.
but so I mean, it's different.
Right.
So I mean, what do you think I'm on the mat for?
No.
I think I'm doing jujitsu because, I love being on the mat. I mean, I'm a wrestler. I prefer to wrestle.
Right.
Jiu-jitsu's fun. I'm going to get me a wrestling tournament. However, every day I get to be with him.
Right.
And
Your
it's
son.
him.
Yeah.
And then me and my daughter,
Right.
we have our other things. She's home now. We get to do other stuff, which is ours.
Right.
So I get that. And then I'm here. I'm in the moment. I'm not half, like, what was that when, that you were half aware of.
Right.
I'm never that way. I'm
it-
always there.
And I still
Thanks
struggle.
to AA and
Right.
God.
Yeah. I still struggle to this day with compartmentalizing my life. Right.
Well, we kind of have to.
I struggle with it because my work is in my house, right?
Right.
So I don't ever leave to go to the office. So I do, but so my job's been inside of my office or my house since 2005. So everything's here. When I'm home, I still have struggle shutting off work so I can focus on her or focus on something, if my grandkids are in the house, I still have that struggle. And that's something that I'm working on internally for me. Little Everly was here the other day and they were trying to find a book for her to read. And she kept looking, and she kept opening up the one cupboard. And Katie was like, go help her get it. And I'm just I'm sitting there. Right. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. And then I'm like, what am I doing? So I ended up getting down and crawling over there and finding it for her. And we got up and we read it together. But it's those things that are important that I get out of my own shit.
Yes.
Right. I wasn't even in shit. I just didn't want to. Why? That's my grandchild. Go do it, you dipshit.
See, that's the 7 things we learned.
Right.
You're going to, you want to be on your deathbed thinking, man, I should have got up and got that book.
Right.
What was I thinking? Because once the moment's over, you can't unring the bell.
No, you can't.
So now I'm ringing the bells.
Right.
I'm conscious in the moment. When my daughter's telling me the story, she told me for the 3rd time, just in a different way, because mom will listen to it once, and she knows that, and you better give mom the cliff notes, because goddamn it, I ain't got a lot of time. So she comes to dad, and dad will listen 2 or 3 times, and if she wants, because I'm
Right.
there.
Right.
It's not, because AA taught me, John, it's not about me.
Right.
Greatest 4 words in the world.
Yeah.
Ain't about me.
And
I don't want to get there and say, man, I wish I'd listened to my daughter. I wish I'd, instead of, what was I going to go do? Watch a YouTube grappling channel?
Right.
What was I going to go do that was more important than listening to my child? Tell me a joy. Tell me a heartbreak. Tell me something. What's more important?
Right. No.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Fucking nothing.
Katie the other day, she was here, and sometimes my job is it's nonstop, right? Nonstop. And she was sitting there, and she goes, "No wonder you don't have time to. No wonder you don't feel like talking to me at night. I'm talked out, right? I think but
We can listen.
We can, but it's so,
But
listen, women don't want you to listen.
Sometimes they do.
You're right.
They don't want you to solve their problems all the time. Just listen.
I know.
But you got to specify, hey, baby, am I solving this one or am I just fucking listening? She's like, no, I want an opinion on this one. You got it. You know what I mean? Okay.
That's
now you're really focused.
Now I got my whole, I'm here. Eye contact. Now am I just listening? Okay.
That's a huge gift I got. That's a huge gift I got because I can, I love listening now.
Right.
Isn't that stupid?
I still
love
struggle.
listening now.
Yeah, but you have the opportunity to listen, or you may not have had that had you not come out of what you did.
No,
so be grateful for the opportunity.
Right. That's what, when Mary was here one time, she's like, she's there in between the two podcasts. And she goes, if you don't learn to pay attention, I'm going to start throwing shit at you. And I'm like, what? She goes, I can tell when you check out immediately,
Hey, go.
Oh yeah. And so it's one of those things where I work harder because when I first started this podcast, when we first started this podcast, it was like, shut up. I said it. I fixed it.
Say a word.
I fixed it. I was always trying to drive the next question, right? Always trying to drive the next question. And it's that's stupid. Stop and listen to what they're saying and respond to what they're saying. And it's like, I've gotten better at it, because there were so many times when you were telling your story in the first one, I was getting ready to interrupt you and start asking, go down another road. But it's like, no, shut up and listen. Shut up and listen.
Sponsorship.
That's what my ex used to do. And it used to piss me off. My daughter does it too, but I've learned to deal with it now. Talk. Where in the hell are you going with this?
Right. Get to the point.
Holy crap. I can't
get to the point.
That's this is when I was working. Oh my God. Just tell. And it's like, no, this is okay. So we had to go over here and look at this.
They think different, John.
Right. They do.
But that's probably generational. Your ex-wife probably got it from her mom on how to tell a story. And now your poor daughters pick that up too. I'm sorry.
I've always heard, who is it? Ryan Barney. Ryan Barney was saying, men are like, you look at them in their file cabinets. You open the file cabinet, you pull this out and you put it right back in and do this. And then you go see a woman and it's just a tub with a whole bunch of shit thrown in it.
Yeah.
And probably crafting supplies too.
Yeah. That's too funny. Who do you have a regret? If you were laying on a table, huh?
I was thinking that. I don't.
But we have been through the steps.
I don't know that I'd have a regret. I don't know. Is there something I know that I wish I maybe didn't work as much, because I missed every first step. But then again, me and my wife had decided she was going to quit her job at Save Mart because I don't want to pay daycare someone to raise our kids. We're going to raise our kids. Does that mean we're not going to have the biggest TV?
Right.
We're not going to have the fanciest car. We know we're going to be sacrificed. So on the rainy days when people would get to go home, I would be out welding or doing something in the rain because I don't get paid at home.
Right.
But I missed a lot.
Right. Right.
That I will never get back.
Yeah. That's when I was actually driving truck is when Miranda, my oldest, was literally in her. By the time McKenna was around, I was already in the office. I think I drove, maybe I was still driving a little bit in the beginning when she was like 1. But when Miranda was little is when in fact, I was looking at a picture that's on our refrigerator downstairs and I'm holding Miranda and you can tell I just got out of the truck and I'm holding Miranda and you can just see her blonde hair and she's got her little arm. She's got her arm wrapped around my arm and she just snuggled up to me. And it's because she hardly ever saw me.
Right. We're never home.
She's never home.
We had, technically what that was, it was a boat race that he was supplying race fuel for. And we went down there because it was going to be like 9 days that we hadn't seen him.
I'd been on a trip down to Texas, running fuel out of Texas and brought it down there and I was in Ventura.
And one thing that bothers me in 2017 when I finally said, because I was offered a foreman job before that and I turned it down and fear.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2017 when things like me and Bonnie had that talk is when things really started opening up because I told my boss, hey, when he fucking retires, that's my job.
Huh?
But I should have been here 12 years before I was here. But I let fear and resentments, basically fear really.
You mean in the job? Your
just
position.
hold me back. So I could have been, and we have more freedom now. Mm-hmm. But because of me and fear and resentment, all the things that, I let hold me back, which held my family back. Fucking pisses me. I can't do nothing back. Can't unring the bell. God does what God does. And once I finally got off my ass, God did what God does, and but I should have been here a long time ago.
I had somebody ask me the other day.
I shouldn't say that. I do. I should have been here a long time ago.
You're right where God wants you to be. I had a guy ask me the other day. He was like, where did your journey come from, with your job and where you're at? And I'm like, how long do you got? Yeah. Because when I got sober, I had to take 5 steps back, right? I felt like God was pushing me backwards, right? I went back to, and I don't want to say just selling fuel, but I went back, had no employees working for me. I had nobody underneath me. I was the bottom. And I felt like that's where God wanted me. I really needed to be there.
But you needed that one boss to kind of get you humble,
And he did. He humbled the shit out of me, right?
But I think he was also protecting you from where you had been.
Yeah.
Like removed you from a situation.
Oh, he did. He absolutely did.
Gave you
Ben Pecker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he
gave you a different opportunity someplace else.
Yep.
And even though it could have been viewed as a step backwards, you grew so much.
But God literally brought that in. And it's hard to explain that to somebody that don't have a good spiritual background, right? And 2, has never walked through these steps. So I was trying to explain that God had to took me backwards to rebuild me, right? Mm-hmm. He had to break me apart to rebuild me. And he did, right? Because
he's got an opportunity for you. But you're not the man you need to be yet. But I got this for you until and God don't fail.
And the boss I have now, the owner now says, I wouldn't have hired you 3 years ago.
Right.
The man you are now is the man I wanted here. Mm-hmm. Right. The man you are now is the what I wanted here. And God literally was involved in that the entire time.
Footprints.
Absolutely footprints. Absolutely footprints. And I'm going to tell you right now, he blessed me with the job I got now. Blessed me. And the respect I get now and everything, the freedom I get to do.
Johnny, how's your personal life?
Well, I shared that in the meeting.
What's that?
I remember saying, I am exactly where God wants me to be right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, think about this. I just had to put somebody just called me with inside the company needing alcoholic help, needing help. Another person called me about 6 months ago. Their son was needing help, right? There's just so much where God is using me inside here. And I am not quiet about
You're not quiet about any fucking thing, buddy. Let's be honest.
That's true.
You're not quiet.
I'm being used where I'm at, and I appreciate that. That's what that's where I love being where I'm at right now, and so comfortable being where I'm at. We still work through anxieties and the fears, right? I still have some fears that crop up, and I deal with them every day, and I slap them in the face, right? Mm-hmm. I have to. It's the only way I get through them, and when I get through those fears and work through those fears, next time that one crops up, I know how to deal with it.
I just ask God to remove them, and He usually does.
Well, the situationals will pop up, right? Yeah. Situationals will pop up, and it's like, oh my God, that's another situation that I haven't dealt with yet, right? So, well, Rob asked you about your personal life. First, before we get there, and I do want to hear about your personal life, but you're going to tell the story about you holding that fucking case of beer.
Yeah.
I want to hear that.
It was a Gallo wine box.
Okay. You got to tell the whole story because I've been telling my wife about this, and you have to tell the story.
Okay, I'm a hydroelectric plant mechanic, and our ball valves are 72 inches, big ones. We had sent one down to MWD, Metropolitan Water District, in Laverne, California. So, and me and the chief engineer were going down there to do quality control. So, and he's an Indian gentleman, Sikh, name's David Randawa, if he ever hears this, Baldev. We'd gone down there, and it was the first night we were there. It's the first night we were there. So we had stopped by a store and gone inside to get something, and I went and I bought a bottle of Captain Morgan and a 2-liter of Coke.
Come on.
To bring back to bring back to the hotel, so I had something. So So we're drinking, having a cat. I said, Dave, I can't believe. He goes, oh no, I drink every once in a while.
He partakes.
And I said, that kind of makes sense, Dave. You go home and drink at night, right? He goes, sometimes. I said, because you always come back with a different fucking thing you want us to do every single day, constantly changing things up. So we had got finished with our Captain Morgan, and I wound up going back to my room, and I thought, you know what?
I ain't done.
I'm not done yet. So we went
Good
down.
alcoholics not.
I went down to, it's called Vendejas or something, Mexican restaurant, and I go in, and I don't watch basketball, but it was a good excuse, So I sat up at the bar, and I'm watching basketball, and Captain Morgan's. I just wanted to keep the same thing. I
Good.
kept drinking.
Don't mix.
Kept drinking, and I got pretty fucked up. So I'm on my way back to the hotel. It's across the street. I remember pissing on the wall on the side before I got in. People could have seen me going in. I don't know. Went in and went back into my room, and I used to sleepwalk. So my ex-wife always used to pack me shorts. She goes, you wear these shorts. So I'd gone up, and I was so fucked up. I got fucked naked and slammed on my bed, and I fell asleep. You know what sound will wake you up out of a dead fucking sleep?
What's that?
The door closing behind you of a hotel room automatically locking.
And you don't have the card.
I don't have the card. I got no place to put it. I got no pockets. Hell, I got no pubic hair.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with being clean and trimmed.
I go outside, and I'm shaved and everything, and I look around, and I'm like dead sober. And I'm looking around, what the hell am I going to do? And I see a room right across from me that says trash. Doors open, so I go inside, and I'm just wondering, I'm a free thinker. I've got open mind, looking around, what's going to help me, garbage bag or whatever. I didn't want to make a mess, so I didn't want to get the garbage bag. I didn't want to dump a garbage bag.
At that point, I wouldn't have given a shit.
Right. I'm just turning inside out, Johnny.
So I see a Gallo wine box. So I kicked the bottom out of this Gallo wine box, and I'm wearing it like a skirt, thinking, shit. So I go outside the hall, and I go to the elevator, and it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I go down hoping the hostess was going to be there. I go out.
Her.
Everything's down and closed, and oh shit, there's nobody there. And I'm just wondering, what the hell am I going to do? What am I going to do? Get in the elevator. I go back up, and I'm going, Dave, I know where Dave's room is. So I go over to Dave, and I'm knocking on his door, and he didn't answer the first time. I kept knocking on his door, and I said, Dave, and he comes up, and I hear, yes, what do you need? I said, Dave, open up the door. Oh, no, what do you need? Dave, open the door, please. So he opens the door, and he's got it locked. So he pulls it against the lock, and I go, Dave, open the door. And he goes, no, you're crazy. You crazy. No. Dave, please open up the door. I got to. No, you're crazy. I've seen this in movies. I've never seen it in real life. Dave, just open the door. So he opens the door up. He's got his whitey tighties on, and one of the small towels, not a dish towel, not the
like
towel. It's like the towels you lay on the floor.
Stand on. Yeah.
So it's almost closed, but it's not. So I could see his underwear. He's wearing his loafers and his socks. That's it. He's laying in bed with the TV going. I don't know what the hell this guy's doing. Dave, I need to use your phone. Oh, good. Use your phone. So he backs up, and I go over and
still have the box on.
I still got the box on. I call the phone, or call the housekeeping. Front desk, nobody's there. No. Call the housekeeping. Hello. Can you please come up and can you open my room? Yes. Can you please open my room? I tell her my number is 312 or whatever. Okay, I'll be right there. So she comes up. I'm standing in the doorway with my box on. Dave's next to me with a fucking little tiny towel. Loafers right next to me, and loafers and socks.
Oh my gosh.
And the housekeeper, she walks past and she goes, "Oh my God." She put her hand next to her eyes so she didn't see like a blinder. I walk out and I'm walking behind her with my box. Dave finally goes in and closes the door. I go into my room, lock the doors, put on my shorts.
That your wife told you
That
to.
I took the den, and I got into bed and I passed out. Woke up at an hour later to get it 4:30 or 5 o'clock. And I go with Dave and we're heading to MWD and I hear this. You know how Indians are. All the way, and I'm going, fuck. I felt so embarrassed.
That's fucking
Pitiful
awesome.
and incomprehensible demoralization.
Yep.
I didn't eat.
So I go back to work. We fly back home. He didn't laugh at me on the plane. I think he was tired and he fell asleep. Got back to work, and for God, the next 6 months or so, I'd work and people'd come up to me and they'd just start busting up laughing. Or one guy goes, "Dude, are you gay?" And I said, "No, what are you talking about? Tell me the story. Tell me the story." Dave said, "You got drunk down at LA. Tell me the story." Oh my God. That was one of my worst. And I just, you wake up and you're nervous about what you did before. And you got that horrible gut wondering what you did before. Being reminded of what you did, fuck, that hurts. God, that hurts. That hurts.
I never was that kind of a drinker. I could never do that.
The only time I had that was with me, McPhee, and OE were on the cruise. And when the first time I drank tequila and I was buck naked peeing on luggage. Yeah. Good time. Good times.
I love that story.
All right, John, we're going to walk you down these stairs or throw you over the ledge, one or the other. We don't know. I appreciate you coming back. I appreciate we got a story. Your story is... the finish of that is it's incredible. It's incredible.
That's AA and God.
That is.
I appreciate Katie for getting you to get me back on track. I appreciate that. I need all the help I can get.
Yeah, she sat out. Like I said, she's originally started on the downstairs and she was texting me, and then she came up here. She was listening downstairs and she came upstairs and she started texting over there. So she
I have a question though.
Hit me.
She was sitting behind Rob, so I thought she was like,
No.
I seen Larry
texting.
reading text, and then he's asking questions that are too smart for him to get.
Hey, motherfucker!
His
like,
We're
computer
supposed to be
kept
friends,
dinging.
you prick.
I love you.
But I do have a question for you. With you having trouble, and you indicated that there was addiction problems within your family as well, your siblings. Are you concerned about your kids?
Definitely. And it's a completely open relationship with my children.
Yeah.
I said, I do not expect you do you. I said, I hope I was bad enough of an example to scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
My daughter is like her mother. She has maybe 1 or 2 beers and she's got to put her foot on the ground outside the bed so the room stops spinning.
All the spins.
My son, this kind of scared me a little bit because he went to college in San Diego. And he was down there with his buddy, and he was talking to me on the phone. We were FaceTiming. He said, "Dad, let me ask you a question." He said, "When you drank, could you still think?"
Oh, boy.
And I said, "Yes." And I said, that was my worst thing that could have ever happened. And I said, "You really need to be responsible." And I told him, I said, "Here's the thing, bud. You might look at me and tell me, no, you got it." I said, "Once you cross that line, you're not coming back."
Yeah, but he doesn't know what could be the catalyst or the trigger for him to make him go. I mean, you didn't expect that when you had to put your dog down that it was going to be such a factor in your life that, that's what brought you comfort because you were hurting so bad.
And I've told him, because I've used the program, if you have any problems, I said, I'm never going to get mad at you. Please call me and just talk to me. I don't care what it is. Just talk to me.
Yeah, I just think that, it's for our girls. I know it's something that we have
I
talked
worry
about.
it. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
it's not concerning with him with the girls because they both have, Miranda really doesn't drink at all, but McKenna and Pat, they're still running around and doing their things, but I know that she has a good grasp on that as well. I'm not concerned about her. But again, they have the example, especially Pat and McKenna,
my grandfather was an alcoholic. My dad, there was 10 kids in my dad's family. 7 of them were boys. All of them were alcoholics. In my family, personally, my oldest brother, he had his problems. He died with methadone in his system. That was the one that they found. The next one, he was up at the lakes. 2 months after he came home, he was dead.
Ouch.
Just relapsed.
He was drinking, went right back to where he was. Sister, she's still alive, living off the government in Montana or something. Next one. I've got one person in the family who doesn't drink at all. Well, she drinks a little bit. My younger sister passed away last year, March, liver failure.
Horrible.
Yep.
It's I think that some people don't think that it's really a generational disease when it is.
Oh, it is.
If people really start looking, they'll realize how far back it goes.
I look at person, and Miranda will probably listen to this, but I worry about Miranda because her and I are so much alike. When it comes to how we judge ourselves, how much we are people pleasers, how much we want. I wasn't a drinker until 45. The kids were almost grown and gone. And before, I drank, but not, my tipping point didn't really come into place after my gastric bypass is when, and the kids were
neighbor.
That motherfucker.
I beat his ass.
He might twist you into a pretzel. He's a wrestler too.
Probably not though. How old is he?
He's
younger than you.
Oh, is he? Let's go.
He's about my height, but wider.
I don't give a shit. Is he active grappling? I'll bust his ass.
I'll put money on that one. All right, let's get out of here.
All right, kids.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thanks for joining us today. If you or anyone you know is struggling, you can reach out to us at recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. Please remember to like and follow, so this podcast reaches those who are struggling. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for more entertainment and news. God bless.